Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? So it is 9:30 and we are on the dot. Who got first tonight? Let's see. Reality of a Second Life. Congratulations, you were first. What'd you say right after that? I'm gonna try to stay awake so I don't miss the live. Hope Sean has rested. I don't want to see Sean's big sleep again. Yeah, no, I'm fine tonight. We're good to go. We are 100% good to go. We are fine. Wow, you guys were busy in the time I put this up. And fa la 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 for $2. I will have it playing on the TV while I pack. Oh, well, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. So I hope everybody's had a nice week so far. I know we're getting into the weekend. It's Thursday once again. This has probably been, holy cow, this has been a really fast week. And there weren't even days off in it. It was weird. So I will say for next week, guys, I don't know what's going on court-wise. I will tell you now, Sarah Boone, and I should have included this, but Sarah Boone is not happening anytime soon, sadly. Her case is being continued till next year, which is not what any of us want to hear, but I do think it's also I thought it was neat. Lawyer, Peter Tragos is starting to look at it too. There's a continuance has been filed. And what happened is her attorneys asked for a continuance. And I'll bring that up right now. Why is this not in focus? So here it is. This is an amended order. Oh, wow. It'll let me pick that up on the writing. On defendant's stipulated motion to continue. A stipulated motion means that both parties agree. So both parties have stipulated to it. And that state of Florida offered no objection. And it's ordered that the motion continues hereby granted. And it's set for a pre-trial on January 17th. And trial January 30th, 2023 at 9 a.m. So we've got a long time to wait. Good news is I went ahead and cleared out that week for the trial. Now, I swear to God, if she moves this again, I probably will try to kill the woman. But for now, I have a cleared out schedule there. So we're good to go. James PFP saying, no one has asked me about this, but I'm going to offer to the chat. I'm a severely repressed denizen of the interweebs today. I've been watching the hearings in the Ottawa. Oh, yeah, I haven't been following those too well, but I hope something comes of that. But usually when the government investigates what the government's done, I'm not holding my breath too much. Wow, we got a party in here almost. Hold on, wait. Where did it? Yes, I love you too, Sheeple. I love you too. Harris saying, hey, Sean, how do I cite a piece of evidence produced in discovery, like a chain email? I'm not sure what you... I'm not sure what you mean citing it, like where, what type of thing you're trying to cite. So... where are my suspenders? It's too late. It's too late in the day for that. Mike L. Toast story when, Boomer. You're at 15K. You're missing an apostrophe and an E there, Mike, but actually. So when are we going to do this? All right. I'm going to have to plan this out because if we're going to do a 15,000, extravaganza, I'd like to have some guests on. I'd like to plan it. I was thinking about doing it like on a Saturday. I have that trial I had, that trial I was supposed to have this week got moved to next week. And I kind of have to get ready for it. And even though I'm all ready to go, this weekend I'm going to be focusing on that and making sure I caught up on all my work for the week. So not going to be doing much this weekend. Probably next weekend, guys, is when we'll do that. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I got to see who's available to come by, but it'll probably be like Saturday evening as the time I'd be shooting for. I'd probably be trying to do it Saturday after sundown, so at least like Joe Neerman could attend. I certainly sent him an invite, but that way he's done with Shabbos and he can be there. But yes, it'll be at some point. Let's see here. Catching up. Tarkina Meyer for $10. Thank you, Tarkina. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. Everyone, please remember to vote on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday is election day if you are in America. You probably have local races at the very least, but certainly there are many states with gubernatorial races. And I hate that word gubernatorial. It's like, I'm the goober. I'm running for the gubernorship. It's a I understand it's the governorship, but the gubernatorial, it's like you're running to be elected goober of something, the state goober. So yes, like Ohio, we have a gubernatorial race. We have people running for governor, people running for Senate, a big critical Senate race. We have a bunch of House seats. You know, all the House seats are up. A couple of them are really, really going to be contested. And then there's all kinds of crap. You've got levies, tax measures, all kinds of crap out there. And if you don't know, start reading, start investigating. You know, figure out what you want to vote for and not vote for. But yes, Tuesday will be a very big day. Phrasing. I know not the word. Daniel Gaskill saying, we lost stand your ground in Ohio. What? What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? The duty to retreat was eliminated by statute. So I don't know what are we talking about? I'm going to say, especially with this legislator now. Yeah, nothing. I don't see anything saying it's gone. So I'm not sure what you mean, Daniel. If you want to clarify, go ahead at some point. I am really confused. Who is Sarah Boone? Jim. Sarah Boone is the woman who let her boyfriend suffocate in a suitcase. She's on trial down in Orlando, and she was set to go to trial, and that hasn't happened yet. But no, she's not related to Daniel Boone or Pat Boone. For paper use as a visual aid type of thing, I would cite the website you got it from if I had to guess, Harris. That's how I'd make that argument for you. That way you could put it down where you found it. Because obviously you didn't just come across the letter itself. So where did you find the letter? Oh, the time changes this weekend too. Oh gosh, that'll be great. Get an extra hour of sleep Sunday morning. What's the worst thing you do is vote. The illusion of freedom. Well, there's only really so many other choices, and most of those involve Minecraft, so it's kind of how you I guess you have to look at it. Alpha Fox, what up, Playboy? Yes, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Kimber says all we have is goobers in Illinois. Yes. Daniel Gaskell says the judge blocked it today, I believe. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about it. So. Carlos Ramirez says, have I listened to the that video of the OnlyFans chick who stabbed her boyfriend to death? She was freaking crazy. No, not yet. I've not listened to any of that yet. I know that's picking up pace. I'm going to be looking into that soon. I kind of got that on the back burner. I've got to get this trial done. Hopefully that gets done and knocked out quickly because I need to get out the information on the Molotov attack attorneys out in New York. They're getting a really fucked up deal that, notice that nobody else on January 6th is getting. So it's very interesting. Holy cow, you guys are chugging along here. Okay, so we are. Cat, I sort of missed Daryl's voice. Yeah, don't worry. He'll have one more last hurrah. So we are all caught up. Wow, it's been 10 minutes. Wow. All right. Kim Berger says, "Can you stream the?" Thank you for $4.99, by the way. Can you stream the Delphi murder trial if it's televised, please? Yeah, I need to look into that because I saw that there were some arrests and things that happened. I need to look into that. I'll read about that tonight and take a look at it. Monad says, "I miss the sweet sound of Sue Opper." Yes. But yes, Kim, I'll take a look at that. Thank you, by the way. TN for $2. Thank you. Yes, please follow the Delphi murders trial. Sure, I will. We got some things, though, to get started on. So, well, if you guys haven't been paying attention, and I know it's been going on this week, the Pelosi family had a little bit of Hammertime fun. Now, a lot of the story is weird. And at first, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. People are in their underwear, and then it turns out, okay, well, it happened at 2:30 in the morning. Then there's the issue of how did somebody sneak into the Speaker of the House's house? She is third in line for succession, and somehow this guy snuck into a building that I would have presumed is a very hardened target. Yet he hopped in his underwear with a backpack and a hammer, and nobody knew about it. So what we do know is, and I guess I'll use this temporarily because it is something for us to read, is the criminal complaint that was filed in U.S. District Court. Why? I don't have all of the state information, but this is from the FBI. There's an affidavit which talks about what they did with the state interviews. Once again, it's very sus, and we'll kind of talk about where it's sus. So this is the criminal complaint here. This is all the case information. If you guys are noticing, unlike in a lot of state courts, this is all computerized. It's all electronic. So the stamping and all of that, there's actually no real stamp machine. And everything's all nice and clean and orderly. So he's been charged with two things: an assault on the immediate family member of a federal official, and attempted kidnapping of a federal official. And it's all based upon the affidavit of an FBI agent, and then this is signed by a magistrate judge in San Francisco. So the FBI agent makes their affidavit for David Wayne DePape, or DePape. I don't know how you want to pronounce him. That's who it is. And we'll get down to the actual good parts and the facts here. Little things that just make you wonder about the sussiness of it all. Just a little bit, at least in my opinion. So I'm a special agent with the FBI and have been an agent since 2019. You've only been doing this like 3 years. They couldn't find anybody more important to do this one. Nancy Pelosi getting attacked. Like, where the fuck's everybody else at? I participated in several investigations of individuals that committed acts in furtherance of ideological goals, to include militia violent extremists, i.e. people with right-wing views. And I'm sure that's pretty much all of them that she's investigated. Normally you don't hear this from cops when they talk about, I completed the new guy training. Well, yes, everybody has to. 'Cause, 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 So as we keep reading, though, it just gets weirder and weirder. Yes, as an agent, she can investigate the law and anything that happens. So here's the issues. At 2:23 a.m., San Francisco dispatch received a 911 call from Paul Pelosi. Pelosi stated there's a male in the home, and the male is going to wait for Pelosi's wife. Okay. And he says he doesn't know who the male is. The male said his name is David. Now, this part here, people are trying to claim, like, why would he say that? Well, he could say, I don't know who this guy is, but he's claiming his name's David. And I think that's fair. That makes sense. James PFP says, yes, they failed to state their pronouns. Yes, the horror of it all. And I wonder if YouTube's going to get mad at me for this. Who knows? Sure, surprised they haven't got mad at me for the Nikolas Cruz sentencing. So the police showed up, and when the door was opened, who opened the door? Pelosi and DePape were both holding a hammer with one hand. Pelosi greeted the officers. They asked him what was going on. And then the guy said, oh, everything's good. And they're both holding the hammer, and they're both grabbing onto each other in their underwear. Kind of weird. Little sussy. DePape pulled the hammer from Pelosi's hand and swung the hammer, striking Pelosi in the head. And then the officers immediately went inside to restrain him. I mean, let's stop right here for a second. Let's stop right here for a second. Whoa. Pump the brakes. I mean, think about all the times cops have been shooting people over things they've done. In this case, this guy's engaged in a violent, dangerous felony assault on another human being, and they didn't shoot at him. They go in and bum rush him and tackle him, but yet we see how many videos of the cops not doing that. Little weird. Little weird. I mean, I'd have to watch this video of this body cam because this is weird. This is weird. Kevin McCulley says, was it Nick DePape rackets? Yes, it was Nick Rekieta himself. Yes, somebody says Chunkita, you mean. Okay, oh, hold on. Yes, holding the hammer. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, holding the hammers. If that's what you want to call it. I mean, if you can, if people can look at your tool, really, if the police can look at your schlong and say, wow, that looks like a hammer, my hat's off to you, bro, because that's pretty cool. You must have a freaking mule if it looks like a hammer. Not sure the ladies would like it, but be impressive. Be an impressive size tool. I'm just saying. So they immediately restrained him on the ground. They found him, although Pelosi was unconscious, they found cash, cards, all kinds of stuff in his pockets. The issue with the glass, and I don't know about the glass. Apparently, they're saying that there was broken glass for the window. Some of the glass is outside. Some of it was inside. I don't know. They did show glass that appeared to be laminated, and that's something I think is important. For a house like that, they're going to have enhanced security. Part of that is not just having normal tempered glass. They probably do have some laminated glass in spots to make it tougher to break in. Although a guy's still breaking in with a fucking hammer blows my mind that Nancy Pelosi's house is not hardened to the point where you need more than a hammer to get in. That's just weird. God, some of you guys with the you guys are horrible. I'm starting some of these. So they were able to interview a witness who saw an individual, witness one, who was working security nearby, hop over the fence and everything like that and walk by the residence. Okay. Pelosi was then interviewed by an officer in the ambulance on the way to General Hospital. He said he never saw DePape before and he was asleep when he came into the room and stated he wanted to talk to Nancy. I'm betting a lot of people would like to talk to Nancy, though. Just saying. When Paul told him Nancy wasn't there, DePape said he would sit and wait. And Pelosi pointed out his wife wasn't going to be home for several days, which, when you're dealing with some like crazed guy who's looking to kidnap your spouse or take something from you, and you're saying, well, that's not happening for like a week. That's not the answer you want to give, because I'm sure that doesn't make things better for you. Makes it very dangerous. You guys, oh my God, I'm trying to read this and you guys are just going along next. So they get to the DePape's interview. All right. As we can see, ladies and gentlemen, what do we see here? In a Mirandized interview, he provided the following information. Now, what should be here? This whole thing right here, you know what should be there? Nothing. We're going to bring this in. We're going to bring this all the way in for a second. There should be nothing there because he shouldn't talk. Nothing. Nothing. Nepa. Nothing. There should be nothing there. And he talked. Yes, Carolyn Black interviewing witnesses after 2 a.m. Okay. Alpha Fox saying in an interview that injury, secondary issue, but yes. Remember, they're cops. They're not exactly road scholars sometimes. All right, so DePape stated in the course of the interview he viewed Nancy as leader of the pack of lies told by the Democratic Party. I guess I wish I had like a producer so you guys could tighten up on me on my own. I guess I'll just no lies detected with that statement. No lies detected. Keep going on. What happened here? They talk about what happened, and they went into a bathrooms. He wanted to tie Pelosi up. Sounds really spicy. And, they could go to sleep as they were tied up. I mean, sounds like the San Francisco story for the ages. DePape says, and this is where, at first, when they try to claim, no, I forgot to set Rumble up tonight. So yes, with the allegations, did he actually say this stuff that much like the founding fathers, he was fighting against tyranny? I don't know. I'd have to see the recording of that. I'm not just necessarily going to take the FBI at their word for it, but I can see why people say this is maybe right wing because yes, people are not generally like Jimmy Dore is not going to make this kind of statement about Nancy Pelosi. And that he reiterated the sentiment elsewhere in the interview, but we'll get to why we don't know that for sure. DePape stated that they went downstairs to the front door. The police arrived and knocked on the door, and Pelosi ran over and opened it. Wait, hold on. If Pelosi opened it, how did the police come in? They don't talk about who opened the door and how did he open the door. So he opened the door, but he had a hand on the hammer and a hand on an arm. And they were doing like the Macarena or Simon Says in the middle of this. This is not worded very well. This leaves a lot of questions. Here. So it doesn't make any sense. DePape stated that he pulled the hammer away from Pelosi and swung the hammer towards Pelosi. DePape explained that Pelosi's actions resulted in Pelosi taking the punishment instead. Well, you could argue that's very chivalrous that you make the man take the injury there. Yes. Zero Signal every day, shut the fuck up Friday. Tarkina Meyer. Yeah, MK Ultra could easily be. Yeah, see cover up. Oh, Nick got swatted earlier with Null? I didn't know that. Damn. Yes, Sheeple, I know Jimmy Dore hates Pelosi. I was just pointing out Jimmy Dore's not going to attribute to Nancy Pelosi that she's violating and he's fighting against tyranny like the founding fathers. So if this statement from DePape is true about being DePape, God, that's the Cleveland creeping in. DePape. If that's true, he said all that, then yes, I could see why people would claim this is somebody on the right. Otherwise, yeah. Alpha Fox saying, I thought someone else was opened. That's yeah. Charlie 18 saying there's a third person opened the door. Like I said, this doesn't make any sense. If the guy who was clear, had a clear mind, of the two, Paul Pelosi had a fractured skull, and DePape was probably on drugs or freaking out, and he says Paul Pelosi opened the door. How did Paul Pelosi open the door? They would have had to open the door and been standing right there they would have been standing in the doorway holding the hammer. Okay, now I'm not talking about penises, guy. I'm talking about the hammer. They would have been standing in the doorway for the cops to have seen them, because otherwise it sounds like the cops had to enter to the room to see them standing there. So how does that work? It doesn't work. It doesn't make much sense. And this guy doesn't get Epstein, because I'm curious to see what happens. So, yeah, it'll be very, very interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up to you guys real quick. All right. So we got some comments to catch up on real quick here. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens with this one. But yes, if he's guilty of these things, he could be looking at 20 years minimum in each of those federal charges, in addition to the state stuff. So he's going bad day. Rick Nikita for $2. Stop. Hammertime. Garrett Pace. Police. Put down the fuck song. Tweety says, is this a kink game? Dick hammering? Yes. Dick flattening, the traditional San Francisco pastime. Why is this not clicking along? A-dubs, how are you doing? It's good to see you here. If sounding is a kink, peen hammering is definitely a kink. Oh, yes. Ooh. Yeah. Eric Kogel says 19 minutes late, got to catch up at 1.25, which makes my wife think Sean sounds like Ben Shapiro. I don't know if I should be offended or not. Rick Nikita again for $2. That witness, MC Hammer. 'Twas an inside job. Tarkina Meyer says Capitol Police who are monitoring the live video accidentally wasn't watching during this event. Yes, that's the other issue. They have all kinds of surveillance and all kinds of police detailed to them. U.S. Capitol Police protect Nancy Pelosi. I bet she's also got probably some Secret Service. There's a lot, and I guarantee you there's SFPD that rolls around that area and patrols it hard, because it's also in a very nice area, so they're going to keep the riffraff out. Ain't nobody pooping on the street in front of Nancy's house. Tweety says penis. used to. I remember in college there were times where you'd play the penis game in a lecture hall. Somebody'd say penis. Next person had to say it louder and louder and louder and louder till you're like penis. And you just loud as you could get. Zero Signal says every day shut the fuck up Friday. Yes. And Tarkina Meyer says MK Ultra anyone. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that's still around. Wouldn't be surprised if it's still around. Wait, hold on here. Sean is the most underrated streamer. Where else can you learn the term meth titties? Hey, I try. Jim Satala is saying this guy is a nudist, acid, and mushroom eating BLM supporter who flies gay pride flags on his VW bus. Yeah, right wing. And that's the thing. Those are some things we know that are confirmed about him, that he is known to be a BLM activist. He is a nudist. He's got some weird, he's part of the whole San Francisco weird scene. So it doesn't make much sense. But it is 2022, so I don't know for sure. But as I stated, it's the FBI, so I'm going to be a little cautious. I'm a little sussy about what they're saying right now. James P says they were practicing their talent night juggling act. Guess it didn't go so well for the dress rehearsal. The police weren't fans, apparently. Rich G says, I blame it on Gamergate. Oh, I'm sure that's going to happen. Carolyn Black says, so, 2 cops enter the room, Paul, then tries to take the hammer from the suspect, and then wham, Paul is now hitting the head in front of the cops. Okay, make it make sense. That's pretty much what this says, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's weird. SF police, San Francisco police, not like special forces police. San Francisco police. Sorry. Frank Franco says he called 911 from the bathroom and then opened the door to have a hammer fight. Yeah, that once again, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Stuff here does not make sense. Charlie 18, and you picked up on this, and I guess I said it at the right time. Yes, he has Secret Service protection along with the Capitol Police. The guy who crapped on our driveway was arrested before his shit was cold. That's why I made the joke, ain't nobody pooping on the sidewalk in front of Nancy's house. But yes, he pooped on her sidewalk, and yeah, he was arrested before that was done. Monad says, we played the penis game with racial epithets in middle school. That's one way to do it, I guess. Penis game's a little less offensive. Rita saying, hello, Shauna chat. Hello. Thanks for being here. Mike likes tacos. What about this isn't clear? A lot of this isn't clear. Yes, I understand the idea that the bad guy hit Paul. Well, you can't say which one's the bad guy. David hit Paul in the head with a hammer. I get that part. And they were in their underwear, and it was 2:30 in the morning. That's about where I kind of is. The rest of it's not clear. You guys, I don't think it's saying that he was charging his phone in the bathroom. It's that Paul Pelosi was able to get into his bathroom and probably had his phone with him, which that alone raises an issue of how does this guy not know that? But remember, we're dealing with a guy who broke into Nancy Pelosi's house. So he's probably a lunatic or really high on drugs. Maybe he didn't notice. I don't know. But I think you guys are reading too far into that unless it's been alleged the phone was charging there. And I don't think it was. Especially not somebody who is a venture capitalist. Like Paul Pelosi is going to be a guy using his phone all the time. So he'd be keeping it on him. Golf of Gun says, why not lock himself in the bathroom? I don't know. Certainly that's what I would do. Actually, if it was me, I'd be going to like, hey, hold on one second. Can I go out? And I'd walk out. I'd walk and grab one of the many guns in the house and come back and kill him. But if I'm Paul Pelosi, yeah, I'd hide in the bathroom. Alpha Fox says, what does David win for beating Paul in the hammer duel? Does he win Nancy? I'm not sure you wanna I'm not sure that's a prize worth fighting for. I mean, do you really want to win Nancy Pelosi's hand? Like it's some sort of a dueling contest? Charlie's saying, it's been reported he was charging his phone bathroom. Yeah, but I don't know if that's true or not. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. Charging the phone in the bathroom, even if this guy is a boomer and he's old, so he's definitely in the boomer pack. Doesn't make any sense because this guy is like a money making boomer. I don't get that one. Even my parents don't do that. They don't charge their phones in their bathroom. So my dad. Okay, yeah, Dad, if you're watching this, yeah, it is kind of weird. You charge your phone like not in the bedroom. I get it. You want to do it that way. That's fine. I just think that's really weird. But anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on. Yes, them titty. Yes, yes, especially back in the day with JFK. Yes. Tyrannus Cygnus says the loser gets Nancy. Maybe that's why David made sure he won. He's like, I'm winning at all costs. So maybe that's what happened. Charging it around, it doesn't matter. What matters is that he was in the bathroom, could have stayed there. Yeah. I'm always reluctant to blame people in a stressful, potentially violent encounter for not making sound decisions because people do all kinds of weird stuff. So I'm not going to give him blame there. But if it's just that one thing, but when it's a bunch of other stuff stacking up, yeah, okay, then it becomes this doesn't make any sense. But if it was just that alone, I wouldn't. Cassiopeia Judkin says, why was the broken glass on the outside? I don't know. And that's where it could be because it was laminated glass or who knows why. But once again, it is each fact alone is kind of weird, but you can kind of excuse it. But when you start stacking them up, really gets very sus very, very quickly. Lady Autumn Sky says, isn't he 82? Yeah, he's old. He's old. James says, I'm asking for a phone in the toilet. Trot Golfer says, Sean, when you say it doesn't make any sense, have you been to San Francisco? No, I have not. I've been told it's, well, aside from all the poop, it's very nice, but especially when you go like rob a Walgreens, it's very nice. Rich G says both Pelosi's are savant stock traders. Yes, I'm sure Paul is just a wizard at it, and certainly it's because he's not talking to Nancy at all. Am I going to cover Chad Absher? I can. I don't know what he did. So hopefully he did. I mean, I'm assuming he did something bad. Probably more worse than parking tickets, but I don't know. Jim is saying he's 82. They probably have a landline phone in the bathroom. Oh, they could be. That could be, maybe. She is worth, Charlie 18 saying she's worth like 137 million. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely they ain't eating SpaghettiOs anytime soon. Gigi says, I love how he's held on bail, but every other criminal in San Francisco is released on no bail. Yes. Apparently he doesn't qualify for California's thing, although at the end of the day, the feds are going to hold him, so that also factors into this as well, most likely. You guys are just like machine gunning this along. Every time you excuse it, you're a pedo. Huh? Okay, I wasn't excusing it. I just said each one you can excuse, but when you add up all the issues, it becomes very suspect. Eric Fulham says, ring, 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 toilet phone, toilet phone. Oh. David says they have a telegraph in the bathroom. Yes. Andrew's son says, congrats on the 15K. Well, thank you very much. Yes. We'll talk about it again probably a little bit more. Oh, Ruger 9x19 says he just wanted that fancy ice cream. Sure. Sure. Tom Gilsing's monograph here yet? No, I have not seen him, but that who knows? Who knows when that'll happen? Could easily happen at some point here. Where was I looking? I thought I saw somebody say something. So, anyways, we will. Oh, Eric saying, what was a hit on Paul set up by Nancy? Then she didn't do a very good job at it. She set up the worst way. All right. So that was, as much as I like to keep talking about what happened to Paul Pelosi, guys, we're gonna move on. This is there's only so much we could talk about with that one. So yes, Nikolas Cruz was sentenced today or yesterday. Nikolas Cruz sentenced, was given 17 life sentences with no parole. And he was then given a ton of other time with the attempted murder charges, the other 17 attempted murder charges he had. So he's going away. He's never coming back. We all knew that was going to happen. And, well, I'm not going to rehash it because I got really fired up about it. But the way the courtroom was run was entirely disrespectful. You guys can go back and watch a stream, and I'm sure I might put a clip or two out about it. But the way the judge handled that courtroom was absolutely disgusting. And the way it ended, I think, sums it up the best. There were multiple issues. And what did it turn into? Well, it turned into bullshit. And how do we know it turned into bullshit? Well, we had stuff like this happen. The people involved were bagging on defense counsel. And this is some of the most disgusting shit I've ever seen. I expect this in like Moldova. Sorry if anybody's here from Moldova. Sorry, my bad. But if I was in Moldova, I expect this to happen there. If I was in, pick whatever country you might have that has a questionable and shitty legal system, I'd expect it to happen there, not here. But this stuff was just nonsensical. The defense counsel for Nikolas Cruz, people have been dogging on them and bagging on them, saying it's their fault and they're horrible people. And yes, they did stand up and say, look, you can't be talking about us and our kids like this, Judge. You need to protect us from it. And what did the judge do? Well, she got mad at the defense counsel and kicked a couple of them out. It was absolute horseshit what she did. And why? Well, okay, because here's what happened. Oh, no. Somebody flipped the bird at one point. Okay, great. If someone does this and you're the judge in a courtroom, you know what you do? You take control of your courtroom. You punish the people responsible and you move on. You maintain control of your courtroom. You don't do what she did and just let everybody spurg the fuck out. This is America still. And if you can't run your courtroom, judge, get a new fucking job. Okay? I think it's clear, though, this was her first death penalty case. This probably shouldn't have been for her. This is going to be tough for anybody, but she was clearly out of her fucking element. Because then what did we see happen? Where is it? Where she loses it? I want to find it. Oh, where is it? Sorry, guys. I thought I had it up and I lost it. God dang it, where'd it go? Oh, and actually, here's a great example. Here's a better... See? Oh, no, they used a middle finger. Okay. The judge should have punished them. And she could sanction them for conduct in the courtroom. She could say, I'm punishing you. You're kicked out. You can't do this. You got to go sit down, whatever. But to sit there and not do anything, that's the problem. And here's the bigger issue. And we know what the problem was. This is the moment the judge was talking about. The week before the trial began. The week before the trial began. The week before the trial began. When did this trial begin? Back in July. So this is what, you're going to hold on to it for that long? If something happens, control it. But God almighty, a week after it happened, we're now 4 months later and now you're going to do this? I get you're a woman, judge, but you can't act like a woman when you're from the bench. You don't get to sit there and let it simmer and then say, well, what about this time back then? No, it doesn't work like that. You don't get to do that. And also, I know, ladies out there, you might get mad at me, but let's be real. You know it's true. This is the thing, though, the judge really got mad about. And you can listen to her act like an idiot here. This is just too much.
I think that's highly improper.
So what happened is they were making comments about the defense team's children. And listen to her.
I didn't even know you have children. I don't know what you're talking about. Your children? What about your children?
For them to comment on my children is highly improper. Before this court to allow that kind of testimony is also improper.
I don't remember any comments about any children. And if there was, it obviously didn't, it came and went without me noticing it.
Judge, I can assure
it came without her noticing it. She doesn't notice a lot of things.
you that if they were talking about your children, you would definitely notice it.
You need to sit down right now. You're out of line. In fact, you're excused. You need to go sit in the back with your chief public defender.
He's the public defender.
Mr. Weeks, please ask the lawyer from your office to go sit down and not say anything else. To try to threaten my children and bring up my children is inappropriate. Go to the back of...
That was the point, you dumb ass. He tried to point out they brought it up about us. If they brought it up about you, you would get mad. And guess what? She got mad. Now, is that really... If they made comments about your kids, Judge, would you get mad? Is that really a threat, or is that just a dumbass on the bench who's got it out for the defense team overreacting? Sounds like it's just an idiot overreacting to me, but what do I know? But she did the exact same thing. He pointed it out, and she still did it. I don't know if she understands what the hell she's doing, but she confirmed exactly everything he said.
Of the room now.
Yes, Queen Spackle.
That just violated about every rule of professional responsibility that I have never. If you're going to get up here and you're going to...
I have never. I don't, the rules of professional responsibility, honey. If you let the people in the courtroom and the witnesses and people come into court run their mouths and violate decorum, do you really know what the rules of court are? Because you're not supposed to let the victims come in and swear, flip the bird, threaten the defense team, and act like general assholes, but you did that.
Judge, I asked you to go sidebar on this matter.
You, sidebar or not, you don't have one of your assistant public defenders say something about my children?
Judge, that same venom that the court is expressing is the same venom that defense counsel had to sit through this entire morning when their children.
She brought up her children multiple times during the trial. Nobody knows if I'm barren or not. They don't know about my children.
Judge.
Sit down. Sit down.
Judge.
Sit down, Mr. Weeks.
Please do not summarily dismiss me.
I'm summarily dismissing
I'm asking
you.
the
Go
court.
sit down.
I'm asking the court. I asked the court to go sidebar.
Go sit down. You don't threaten the
Judge,
court's children.
everyone
Your
in this
assistant just did
courtroom.
that. Go
Nobody threatened your children, honey. Nobody threatened your children. You're just too feeble-minded to understand.
sit down.
No one in this courtroom had to endure what we had to
Go
endure.
sit down. Miss McNeil has made her children a spectacle more than once during this trial. That was her choice. You have absolutely no right to have one of your assistants come up here and suggest something about my children. Now, please go sit down.
Judge.
You're inappropriate and out of line. Go sit down.
Well, that's a self-report, and I don't think she realizes that. So, hold on one second, guys. So, yes, that was an interesting self-report, and it only got weirder from there. To have the other parties come in and just be complete. She's complete garbage, yes. Oh, the deflection. Well, about me or her? So, it only got weirder from there. And how do we know it got weirder? Well, hold on here. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry, we're just going to comment on that one. Where is it? Yeah, here we go.
10 a.m. this morning that I was
This
gonna
is
do
this is interesting. This is Fred Gutenberg. He is one of the
slow down a few things. I may ramble on a bit. If I do,
he is the father of one of the children was killed, and he's trying to become a big political figure off all this.
I apologize. I see you're still needing to do your thing. So,
Mr. Gutenberg.
which is, I guess, the way this process is supposed to work. I will be honest with you. For the better part of the 4.5 years, and they can attest to this, I've probably been angry at you more often than not because I didn't know the process. And every time there was a ruling that I felt wasn't good.
So he admits, I got mad because I'm an idiot and ignorant. That's gonna be a theme here.
Good for the prosecution. I got annoyed. Every time I saw these things coming up from the defense that took up time, that delayed us, that are the reason we're now 4.5 years out, I got annoyed.
Those things, yes, the constitutional rights of the accused, but then again, Fred Gutenberg's trying to chisel away at the Second Amendment. So I guess understanding constitutional rights isn't exactly your forte, Fred, is it?
And I kept on saying to them, why can't the judge do more? Why can't the judge do more? And I need to say to everyone here at this table, you are the most amazing group of people I've ever been connected to. And I thank you because your ability to make sure I understood every bit of it, to make sure that everything the judge was doing was to ensure there couldn't be a call for a mistrial. We heard that often. Or some kind of, should this have resulted in the death penalty, an appeal. You always helped me to understand it and to keep me engaged in the process in a way where we kept going forward together. But you see, for our families, that also meant doing it in silence, because we couldn't go public. We couldn't complain. We couldn't act out. And so I want to thank you, because at the end of this process, you have been nothing but decent, fair, and firm. And I want you to know that. So I'm going to let everyone know something. Last week, I sat with you, Attorney Sachs, in his office. Watched the video of you. I'm glad I get to see your face right now. Of you killing my daughter.
And see, during a victim impact statement, that's fine. He hasn't crapped on anybody yet. And you're allowed to make some statements like that, but he's allowed to say now, and I'm talking about you, Nikolas Cruz, you son of a bitch, you killed my daughter. That's perfectly fine. He's allowed to do that, and he should do that. The victims are here, and their families are here to express what's happened to them, the harm that's been caused. Okay, great.
The very first time. You see, all those video evidence that was shown in this courtroom, we didn't see it. Maybe that was to protect us, to protect the public. We didn't see it. But heading into this week, I was searching for answers, for clarity. And I sat with Attorney Sachs, and I watched you second, looking for guidance from Jamie, for strength. Nothing changed. I'm still a dad who spent every day dreaming of walking his daughter down the aisle, who now will have to endure a lifetime of the reality that I won't get to walk my daughter down the aisle. There are, actually, by a show of hands, anyone else in this room, because of him, going to have to endure not watching people?
So he was doing really good to this point. Till this point. You're not a televangelist. You're not an auctioneer. This is nonsense. This is grandstanding at this point.
People they
And the judge should say, sir, please just keep addressing the court. But she didn't do it because she doesn't control her court.
love, get married, or the fact that there's Mother's Day. We've had to endure. Yeah. Anyone who claims that they had to endure anything close to what we endure.
That's not what the defense said, Fred. Once again, like, I understand, like, you get emotional and you get all hissy pissy and, you get a little flared up down there and your bottom gets raw. Like, I get it. It happens. But you need to take some, like, diaper rash cream, some Preparation H. Cool that down. That's not what they were talking about. But to get put through the bullshit in that courtroom, that's what they meant. You know it. But once again, you're kind of ignorant, so I mean, maybe you really don't. I don't know.
You may want to rethink your language and your choice of words just a bit.
Okay, I'll rethink my words. Fuck you, Fred. You're a fucking tool.
I look at you sitting there right now, looking the way you should have looked through the entire trial, like a convicted murderer, in your prison outfit, shackled. It is still incomprehensible to me that when we went through the penalty phase of this trial, which you were already a convicted murderer for, that you were able to sit there looking like Howdy Doody in whatever outfit they felt like putting you in for the day. Your hairstyle, your mask on, your seat really low like a little boy.
Here's the thing, Fred. Once again, ice your fucking titties down, brother. This is his constitutional rights. They have to be protected. Well, I don't understand, and my pussy's dripping. I don't know what to tell you then. Put a new tampon in. If you can't understand it and you're going to lash out like an overly emotional little bitch, I don't know what to tell you. I get it. Your kid's dead. That doesn't give you the right to come into the courtroom and just spurg out on everything. I just don't understand it. Roar! That's not how this works. That is never how this works. Okay, where you're just doing it. You're wearing your clothes and wearing your nice Oxford cut things. Like, come on, bro. Act like you don't understand this. Like, yeah, James PFP. Fred is no Gary Plache. Yeah, he wouldn't have the balls to handle Gary's business like that. So it's just it's annoying. It's annoying. So that's where this goes, and he keeps on going, and we're done with that because that's just it only gets on from there. But with what the judge did, this part here is this is the judge after the trial. This is the judge after the trial. This is I saw that. I just wanted to make sure everybody saw a little bit of that new. But this is the new part. This is the new part here. Oh, this is the judge hugging the prosecution team. Hugging the prosecution team. And like she's hugging all of them. Not just like one, but like hugging all of them. Okay. And she's standing there and she hugs them all. Okay. That's all right. Like what? Why? I don't know. It's it only gets it only got worse. Where is it? Because she then hugged all the family members. She hugged the defense team. She hugged the prosecutor. And then she hugged all the family members. All the family members. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, here's the thing. Is that going to overturn anything? No. No, that's not going to overturn anything. Not at all. It's unprofessional. As a judge, you are to be impartial. And you're to avoid any appearance of impropriety. Now, is Nikolas Cruz's team going to appeal because of this alone? No. They might appeal on some things. They might not, because ultimately they got the W. They got life without parole. He didn't get executed, so they won. But should this judge be punished for this? I mean, it's not like disbarred, no. Should taken off the bench, no. But should the Florida Supreme Court sit her down and be like, listen, you can't do that. Like, we don't know, like, I don't, you haven't been a judge too long, but you're not allowed to do that. I mean, you don't ever see this. Why? Because judges know better. And I guarantee you she knows better, but she does whatever she wants. She turned this case into a train wreck. She let people go up there and crap all over to the defense team and spurg out during their impact statements. She's gone to war and been not very like questionable about her biases during things. You know what? She shouldn't do that at all, ever. I mean, think about all the other trials we've watched. Dr. Husel, Theodore Edgecombe. You guys have seen Kyle Rittenhouse, Matthew Moore. You name it. Mario Batali. We've covered a lot of trials. And what have they been able to do? Darrell Brooks. I mean, you think this was hard? Think about Darrell Brooks. Judge Doro did it right. And you know what? I think Judge Doro would know better than to go run around and start hugging people. We've seen judges act professionally and act with impartiality, where we don't have to question them. We know that, you know what, they haven't done anything to make us question whether or not they're going to shoot straight and shoot down the middle. What this judge here, Judge Schurr or Schurr, I don't know what the hell she's going to do in the future. Do you? This does not make her seem impartial. This makes her seem very, very easily swayed by emotion. And that's not something you want from a judge. No bias here, guys, whatsoever from Monad. Yeah. Just, you can't have that. Eric Fulham saying free hugs. Now, here's the issue. If she's impartial right now, was she impartial during the trial, during the penalty phase? Well, I don't know. But it certainly draws that into question. And we shouldn't be questioning the partiality of our judges. We should be able to have some faith they are not going to give off the appearance of impropriety. Because that's the very least we can ask of them. But she failed completely. Valhalla Wait says, is she elected or appointed? She's elected, and you're elected to be a judge in Florida. Ag Biochemist says, at least the Alex Jones judges weren't this bad. Yeah, even the Alex Jones trials, those judges didn't go down and start hugging everybody on the team but Alex Jones. It's just mind-blowing that this happened. Never seen that happen before. It's because, Carolyn's saying it's because she knew she was being filmed, right? No, it's because she's a fucking idiot. Oh, Luke Bice is saying, oh, she absolutely reveled in the television. Sure. Pete Weiner says, did she sign autographs after? Oh. Aaron Gogol says, can a hire declare a mistrial on their own initiative? No, they don't. You can, appeals courts can only act on what's brought in front of them, number one. Number two, if you're Nikolas Cruz, do you really want to risk going back through this again? That's 2A. Question 2B. Even if you could guarantee that you won't get the death penalty the next time around, which you could very well do if you redo the penalty phase, he could get sentenced to death. Did this judge's impartiality issues and her bias issues so deprive him of a fair penalty phase in this part of the trial? You would have to show that. And that alone, there's not enough, I don't think. It should be questioned, and she should be held to account for it, but it's not enough at all. And I want to make sure people understand this. That alone is not going to be enough for an appeal, and it shouldn't be. But somebody should be getting involved and knocking on our door saying, like, hey, you need to come talk to some of us in charge of, like, judicial oversight, because that was not cool. At the very, very least. Charles Forrest says, not just the judge, the prosecutors should also be disciplined. They should know better. The judges, maybe, but I don't know what rule. They're the state. Like, they're supposed to do their thing. The judge is the one here who's the prevailing party. She's the judge. It's her courtroom. She should know better. I don't know what they would have. You get where I'm going with this? I'm trying to think of the rules of professional conduct, even like, Rule 8.3, which generally covers prosecutors, like, or 3.8, I mean, like, I don't really see anything there, because they're not supposed to be impartial. They're allowed to be impartial. They're allowed to be very partial. They're allowed to be very biased. They represent the state. So they didn't seek those out. Like I said, the judge is the one who clearly has rules, and she screwed up. Lee says, open a tanning salon. Oh no. Oh, so you guys, some of you guys are being woof. Some of you guys are being tough down there. I'm going to leave some of that be. Valhalla waits says Alex Jones' judge was a steamroller. 7-Eleven is an inside job. It's good to see you, man. Cry all you want, but the public will love it and she'll get reelected. Sure. That doesn't mean it's not right and that the public is stupid if they think this is actually a good idea. Because here's the thing. Think about it. You have a speeding ticket. You take it to court and you lose. As you're walking out, you see the judge and the prosecutor walk across the street, sit out on the patio of a restaurant and eat lunch, and they're hucking and chucking it up. How would you feel? You feel like it's a scam. There's a reason why we want impartiality. Common lawyer says typically in these types of trials where you know the monster did it, you make sure there was no appearance of bias. Yes. You make sure not just to prevent an appeal, but it's because it's so easy to be biased. Exactly. The law matters. It does. It should matter. Aaron's saying, so how can we effectively punish the implication of a defendant's rights? In this case, you really can't. Nothing's really going to happen to her, and that's how it goes. Just like if she was a cop, yeah, she might get told to go do some training, but they'll investigate themselves and find nothing wrong. Track golfer says, judges don't hug. Yes, brothers hug. Okay, guys, we are going to, I don't know what we've been talking about in the middle of chat, but we are going to chill out just a hair here, okay? We're going to ice it down. Everybody's going to chill out. Don't make me turn this car around. I will. Catching up on some of this real quick. Russell Wallace Warren for $4.99 says, I appreciate your time. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. I need your super chat. Rick Nikita for $5 says, by the blood we are made. By the blood we are armored. By the blood we will endure. Scraper says, are you after the long cuck hug clip? Yes, I was. I had to find it for a second. Rob Dorr from Law of the Wild, which is a good channel. Check it out if you haven't had the chance yet. As public defenders, we don't get to pick out clients and we can't fire them. The judge and the public comments are way out of line. Certainly, even if he was retained, even if I retained counsel, doesn't matter. Don't get the crap on those people like that. Peter Watkins for $4.99 says, for confused people, why is he defending his rights? Because we defend the worst people's rights, so that when it's you, yeah, exactly. By protecting him, I'm protected. Maybe selfish, but I'd like to know that. Rose RNC LNC says, you make this tragedy very watchable. Well, I try. No, we're not stopping. Dean Cummings, I'm going to look at that. I watched a little bit of that. I watched like 10 minutes. I listened to about 15 minutes of the opening from the state as Bronco was doing it, but he was EFAPing it kind of. And I don't mind I don't mind doing EFAP, except when I'm doing it. And I mean, by every frame of pause, I'm okay when I do it, but when other people are doing it, it drives me crazy. So I'm going to have to listen to that and see what's going on. But yes, from what I've been told and from what I was watching and looking at Discord chat every once in a while, this is the crappiest case you can imagine. So I don't know why they're bringing it. Don't know why they're bringing it. Sean loves fapping. Who doesn't love fapping? G. Gurdum says selfishness is a virtue. I mean, so for some people it might be. Okay, guys, moving on. I guess we need to get going here. Christopher Schurr. If you guys don't remember Christopher Schurr, He was in the Patrick Loyola shooting. And if you guys don't remember that one, I'm going to try to bring it up here. If you guys don't remember it, and I'm going to have to be careful because it sounds like YouTube is considering this one violent content. So, if you guys, here, I'll bring it up and at least share some pictures of it. He was the guy in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He grabbed the taser after the cop tried to stop him. And this is them running, and then it ends up with the officer on Patrick Loyola's back. After he lost control of the taser, he pulls out his pistol, sticks it to the back of Patrick's head, and done. So he was charged with second-degree murder. Last week, he had a preliminary hearing that ran from Thursday and Friday. If you guys were tuned in last week on Friday night and then on Saturday, I covered it. We ran through the whole thing. The judge was going to make a ruling on Monday, and the judge did make a ruling. He released it, and basically he determined that probable cause had been met. Remember, though, as I said before, that's a really low burden. That doesn't mean they have enough to convict. That means they have enough to go to trial. So they're going to proceed to trial. I still think he's going to win at trial. I don't think beyond a reasonable doubt he committed murder. And I don't think this really should have gone farther here. But remember, this isn't a massive burden to pass. So I guess we'll just see how it plays out. And if he does go to trial and it is televised, you can be assured we will cover that one, because I think that one is a very important one to watch. I'd be very interested in hearing how this officer testifies on that one. So, oh yes, Amy Nintendo, yes. The cop in Michigan, yes. Franca says yes. He was drunk as fuck. Yeah, he had by the time of his death, he had a 0.29 blood alcohol content. Yeah, he was definitely a little tipsy. Definitely a little tipsy. Track Golfer says this cop is in trouble. Certainly. I mean, he's already behind the curve. You're now being prosecuted. You're sitting at that table. You've been charged, and a jury's staring at you. Yeah, he's already behind. You know, as much as we like to say it is innocent until proven guilty, it's not that way. He's going to have to prove his innocence. He's going to have to prove that he was justified. I mean, even though the burdens are on the state, it's really going to come down to him, and he's going to have to prove his case. I think he can do it based on what's there, especially with all the evidence been presented so far. But we will see. Jim is saying the probable cause has been bastardized to the point it's really not a standard at all. Sure. Yeah, I think I mentioned that. The idea of a preliminary hearing is kind of a joke nowadays. It's very perfunctory. I mean, I've had probably like 250 of them total I've been involved in. And I've won like 2 of them. And each time I won them, it did nothing but give my guy like another week or 2 before he ended up getting direct indicted by the grand jury anyway. So it didn't really do anything for you. Because in Ohio, the prosecutor can still convene the grand jury and indict you without a preliminary hearing. So you win the preliminary hearing, doesn't actually do anything. Garrett Pace saying 0.29 is a lot of White Claw. Luke is saying that's like 22 White Claws. Track Golfer saying, do I actually believe the system's built on innocent until proven guilty? Well, it's meant to be, but is that the standard? No. And if I messed that up just now, let me clarify. It is meant to be innocent to proven guilty. But like in this situation for this guy, and also for pretty much everybody else, it is guilty and proven innocent. You start out in a hole and you have to catch up when you're on defense. And for this guy, Officer Schurr is going to be in a big hole. And they're going to have to play the game of their lives to dig themselves out of the hole and then kick the prosecution's ass. So no, they're going to have to prove their innocence. The burden, even though the state has the burden technically, and under the law they have the burden, the jury's going to put the burden on this officer to prove his innocence. And he's going to have to be shown to be justified. He's going to have to show why he was justified. Is that fair? No, but that's sadly how it is. Tweety saying, who was 0.29 drunk? The guy who was shot, Patrick Loyola, was. So, Tarkina saying Natalie already found him guilty, so move along. Oh, well. We can all have our different opinions. Some people could say, yeah, he's toast. Some people can say, yeah, he's not. You know, lawyers can disagree. If we all agreed, we wouldn't be very good lawyers. James PFP saying, yeah, there is a bad optic, mainly shooting the guy in the back of the head. Yeah, but that's the part he can aim at. Now, yes, if he had been able to take that pistol and just jam it into this guy's side and pump a couple of rounds into him, nothing probably would have happened. He probably wouldn't have been charged. But yes, it's the fact it's a headshot does not make it look good. Gigi saying, I still don't think he should have shot him in the back of the head, though. I mean, maybe, but where's he going to shoot him in the meantime? You got to shoot him somewhere. And remember, you have to shoot him, like shooting his arms or hands. That's dangerous because he could grab your gun. You might miss. And then you run the idea of you're trying to wound, and that's not what the gun is meant for. The gun is lethal force. So you better be trying to use lethal force. Yeah, it is bad optics. That's definitely an issue. It's bad optics all around. But that doesn't mean he's completely toast. He can come back from it. It's just going to be, like I said, he's going to have to dig himself out of the hole and then kick the prosecution's ass. So that is that. Okay, so the other thing I think I don't know if we mentioned before, I mentioned it during the hearing. When you watch the video, the cop gets really winded very quickly. I mean, they're running all over the place, and then by the time he shoots him, he's completely gassed. So I think that was also a fear. He's like, I'm completely like out of juice, and this drunk guy is still going. So, I better do something. But we'll find out. He's going to have to testify, so we'll hear from him in his own words why this happened. And like I said, it will be interesting. And then I guess the final thing to talk about tonight, I did mention it was going to be about the COVID amnesty. I'm going to mention that at another point. This was something I thought, I did a video on this a while back, and we talked about it a little more since then, but it's what's going on with the Department of Homeland Security. And why do I bring this up? Because sure, they are working with big tech, and they have been working with big tech. And this is from The Intercept, and I think they're really good. It's interesting. It's Glenn Greenwald started this up, and if you remember Snowden and the Assange thing, that's that Glenn Greenwald. Interesting enough, he was forced out of his own publication. But the Department of Homeland Security, along with the FBI, and certainly probably other parts of the intelligence apparatus in the United States, so probably the CIA and the NSA, in addition to whoever else they want to throw into the mix, have been working with big tech, and they've been having meetings, and they cooperate on suppressing misinformation and disinformation, to the point where even Facebook still has a portal for the government to go in and flag content they don't like. Well, it's going to be hard to claim Section 230 or a private company when you're doing the government's bidding. Makes you sound like a quasi-governmental actor. So good luck with that, everybody. But years of DHS internal, and here's the thing. When I talked about the Ministry of Truth ring, that Nina Jankowicz issue, and I did that video. And for those of you who don't remember what I'm talking about, I guess we'll find it real quick. It's actually interesting. It was from 6 months ago. If you guys can see, it's right here, the Ministry of Truth. And yeah, what do you see? The Department of Homeland Security stickers coming apart. And what do you see? Oh, there's that guy with the big swarthy hair. Need a new haircut. The posters kind of get ripped away, and you find out what's underneath. Well, and we talked about it a couple times since then on here on Thursday nights. When you learn about a government organization or a government program or project, it's not brand new. It's brand new to you, but they've been doing it for a while. They usually, how this works, it's done informally. It's done on an ad hoc basis. And then after a while, they formalize it. And then when it's formalized, you get to find out about it. Much like the stealth bombers. We learned about them right before the Gulf War started. But they've been operational for a couple of years prior. That doesn't mean they didn't exist. They've been using them for a while. You just learned about it. So now what do we know? Years of internal DHS memos, emails, and documents. Years. Oh, Dr. Mimo, why was JP Morgan Chase in there? We'll get to that. We'll get to this. Okay, hold on. Time out. What are we? Okay, we're all going to just chill out here tonight. All right. Russell, you're asking why is he a moderator? Because I fucking made him one. Okay. And he's not going to control your speech as long as you follow the rules. That's my promise to you. So we're going to talk about this thing on the screen right now instead. How about that? Let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about the government being a bunch of scumbags. All right. How about we can all agree on that? We can all agree the government's a bunch of cocksuckers. Let's focus on what we share in common. No chill into the oven. So we're going back to this, guys. And they illustrate an expansive effort by the agency to influence tech platforms. It's not really influencing them. The government tells you to do something. There's a reason why they want you to do it. So I think that's a very disingenuous way of phrasing it, especially from Ken Klippenstein. But hey, whatever. He wants to kind of whatever. So yes, this came into clear view earlier this year when the government announced the Disinformation Governance Board. Yes, so once again, they had an ad hoc group, and then they finally gave them a name and made them formal. And it was a panel designed to police misinformation, false information spread unintentionally, and disinformation, false information spread intentionally, and malinformation, factual information shared typically out of context with harmful intent that allegedly threatens U.S. interests. Now, we talked about this before. Why is this a problem? Because eventually the government's going to be involved. And they try to stop you. Let's say they don't like what you're saying, and they're saying you're harming U.S. interests. They try to stop you, but you figure out a way to keep going. And you keep going, and you keep going. Eventually, what are they going to do? If you're harming U.S. interest, they're going to stop you. And if you won't cooperate, they'll get a court order to do it. Or they might just go ahead and say, hey, we're the feds, and we got guys with guns. We're just going to come raid you and stop you. That's the scary part of this, because that's where it leads. They're the feds. You think they're just going to ask you nicely to stop? No. They're going to come after you. Yeah, sure, they might get a court order at first or an injunction against you. But what happens when you defy that? They're going to come after you. And what are they doing in the meantime? They're getting big tech to work with them. They're getting JP Morgan and Chase to work with them. And what are they going to do with that? Well, they're going to debank you. Oh, you're spreading disinformation. Sorry, your bank account doesn't work anymore. And for those of you who might laugh and say, that didn't happen, that can't happen. Look what happened in Canada. They froze the bank accounts and financial assets of people involved in the trucker protests. What are you going to do? You can't pay your mortgage anymore. Can't pay for Sally's braces at the dentist office. Can't buy groceries. Can't pay your bills. Oh, well, you're harming U.S. interests. Maybe you're a terrorist. I mean, how far are we away from getting people, black bagged or drone striked? I mean, that seems really far off, but is it really that far off? I don't know. And they like to talk about the to influence tech platforms, but then they just get out and say it clearly. Through pressure on private platforms, the U.S. government uses power to try to shape online discourse. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. The government tried to influence speech. No way. Government bureaucrats being scumbags. Interesting. Block is a great feature. I don't block people. Avoidance is for pussies. Jim, I trust you. You don't have to explain yourself to me, Jim. If you ever do, throw it in Discord. But Jim, I give you a wrench for a reason. I trust your judgment. Pie Case, is this the new loose lips sinks ships? Yeah, they're going to try to. This is going to become the new thing. Banks will certainly freeze your accounts, yeah. And, Trump signed HR 3359, yeah. A lot of things he did that are going to have some bad effects going forward. Yes, Crispy Ginger. The U.S. interest, our government interest. If you threaten them, they'll take you out. Very true. Garrett Pace says, do you love black people? Well, maybe that'll be part of, the disinformation courts. Tarkina Meyer says, yes, it's called ESG, peeps. China's already fully enforced. Yes, this is social credit. This is the beginnings of it. Except, and I don't know how China does it fully, but this social credit's going to be enforced with a gun and be very heavy-handed. Why? Well, in China, they're used to the government being oppressive. We're not here in America, so what are we going to have to do? The government is going to crack down. The government is going to be heavy-handed because that's all the government knows how to do is force. But that's all the government is force. It is the manifestation of the monopoly on violence we grant as a society. Through our social contracting. I hate using that phrase because it makes me sound like goddamn Chili DeCastro, and I hate that man's stupidity with the fury of 1,000 suns. But unlike Chili, I'm using it in the proper context. These discussions with big tech range from the scale and scope of the government intervention in online discourse and the mechanics of streamlining takedown requests for false or intentionally misleading information. But what do you do when it turns out the government... Here's the problem. When people try to say the fact checkers, what happens when the fact checker is wrong? Well, we learned the virus of an unknown origin did come out of Wuhan, China. We learned the Hunter Biden laptop was not Russian disinformation, although all of these spy agencies and former spooks and spies knew it. Well, they were all wrong too. What happens when the fact checkers are wrong? When the government's wrong trying to mandate the truth, and it turns out they're not correct? Truth is treason in the land of lies. And we're finding that out more and more every freaking day. The platforms have to get comfortable with the government. It's really interesting how hesitant they remain. Says Matt Masterson, a former DHS official, Yes, a Fed saying, geez, it's really weird why people don't like us. Coming from a Fed. Yes, it's interesting how they don't trust us. Gee, I wonder fucking why. I really wonder why they don't trust you. And he texted this. He's a Microsoft executive. He's a former Fed who now works for Microsoft. Why is Microsoft hiring Feds? Why are there so many people from the federal government and the security apparatus and national security and the intelligence field working in Silicon Valley? It is rife with these people, these governmental state power-seeking scumbags. And this dude's texting his boss, his former boss. Why? Why is he doing that? So much shit I want to say that'll get the FBI knocking on my door by tomorrow afternoon. So much shit I want to say. It's enough to make a lot of people go rent Ryder trucks. I mean, for moving purposes, of course. You know, especially if you got a big pile of fertilizer you need to move. Those bags of ammonium nitrate don't move themselves. And instead of trying to like load them up in a wheelbarrow, if you put them in a Ryder truck, you can move them from place to place on your farm a lot easier. Clip that, somebody, please. Oh. So further along, it says that, you know, in a discussion attended by senior executives from Twitter and JP Morgan Chase, a bank, stressed, we need a media infrastructure that is held accountable. Held accountable to who? A bunch of banksters and governmental bureaucrats? Oh, yeah. This is going to turn out well. This is going to turn out well. Oh. And they talk about that, and this is where, at the time of the writing, the content request system at facebook.com/xtakedowns/login, which I did check myself when this Intercept article came out a couple days ago, was still active. Is still live. I don't know about it anymore. DHS and Meta, the parent company of Facebook, did not respond to a request for comment. The FBI declined to comment. Oh, gee, yeah. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Yes, once a Fed, always a Fed. The Second Amendment is the only thing they fear. It is very true. Very, very true. Sheeple Hunter says, I miss how Trump says China, China, China. Oh. Yes, the Rona lockdowns were the trial run. Yes, they are. In Minecraft. I didn't say Minecraft. I don't play Minecraft. Law Nerds already clipped it out. They probably do. Those towers must be taken down. Oh. DHS tweets asking, did DHS still say the 2016 election was stolen? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if they do. I can't keep reading this, guys. It's just gonna piss me off. You know what? You know what? Screw it. We're already here. Yes, 0 fucks in real life, quoting the great Sam Hyde. You know, and I'm glad he can't. I'm glad he'll keep getting away with this. God bless that man. So, I guess let's finish up. I mean, this goes on forever. It goes on forever. And this part here I thought was really great. According to a draft copy of the US DHS's quadrennial Homeland Security Review, God, that's a lot of words to church up their snitch report. DHS's capstone report outlined the department's strategies and priorities in the coming years. The department plans to target inaccurate information on a wide range of topics, including the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, so they're going to go after the people who said it didn't come from the lab? I mean, that sounds like they're going to be suppressing governmental officials. I don't know. Just saying. The efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines, which all I can say to that is, ladies and gentlemen, consult with your doctor, follow medical advice. I can't give medical advice on that, so that's all I'll say here. Racial justice. Okay, I guess, hands up, don't shoot is going to be real now, according to them. The U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. What was inaccurate about that? It was a complete disaster. People literally fell off of airplanes, and we gave the Taliban tons of equipment. I mean, tons of equipment. Tons. What was inaccurate about that? I don't know. And the nature of U.S. support to Ukraine. What's inaccurate about that? That we're just funneling them billions and billions and billions of dollars. We funnel them so many weapons that are showing up in the black market. We have now sent soldiers and U.S. forces in to maintain and monitor those stockpiles. Why are we sending guys in to make sure these weapons are accounted for? Because they're fucking disappearing. I wonder how long it's going to be till people start shooting down airliners with fucking Stinger missiles or javelins. There's going to be a lot of hurting going on. But remember, guys, slimy ukulele. Got to make sure at any cost. I mean, it's one thing to burn Russian tanks on the countryside. It's another to turn Ukraine into an arms bazaar. But I guess that's inaccurate, according to the DHS. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. Not going to say it. And this is true. The inherently subjective nature of what constitutes disinformation provides a broad opening for officials to make politically motivated determinations about what constitutes dangerous speech. Exactly. And that's going to vary from administration to administration and from year to year and from director to director and bureaucrat to bureaucrat in charge. Everybody's going to have the one thing that sets them off. So we shouldn't ever be doing this. But, the government creeps on. The government creeps on. Oh, yes, Tarkina. Yes, Pelosi, Biden, Romney, and Kerry all were collecting cash for their kids in Ukraine. Yes. Yep. 100%. Mr. Sister Fister says only $86 billion. Come on. You're right. I'm so sorry. Only $86 billion. I mean, what's a couple billion amongst friends? So, track golfer, I can't say that on here. I don't need YouTube clamping on me like that, but well played, sir. Well played. Oh, did I just buzz? Nope, I did not. Actually, yeah, I did. Who? What? What do you want? What do you? Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Let's see here. Sorry, Trini was reading along, guys. Sorry. Garrett Pace saying, well, they lost their arms market in Libya. Yeah. Yep. Yes, they did. Ukraine is now equal to the escape from Tarkov merchants. Yeah. Truck officers, man, your streams fly by. Trust me, you have no idea from my end of it. Okay. Wicked Money says Hillary Clinton is eating babies as we speak. Well, she's looking good, so I wonder how many she got into. Thomas Fenton, don't disagree with you. Sean is wearing a pleasure harness activated by Nick. He hasn't texted me in a while, so he needs to get on it if he's going to do that. Guys, a couple more minutes of this. But how do we, you know what we do though? Here's the thing. The part of this that's the biggest thing of all. Where did the DHS come from? The Patriot Act. And I can say this much, being a 16-year-old kid when 9/11 happened, and then they immediately ran this thing through. Who cares? It's to fighting with terrorism. It just seemed weird. Why does the government need to read my library books? Why do they need all this authority? And yes, I know the Patriot Act now has been stymied. But look at what's happened in the meantime. Good God Almighty. How many NSA scandals have we heard of? How many times we had the Director of National Intelligence sit in Congress and say, the American people are not spied on, not wittingly, at least. That was him saying, not intentionally, and he lied. He lied. James Clapper lied in front of Congress, committed like no shit perjury, and nothing happened. This can all be traced back to then. Now, yes, could the surveillance state still have made the slow march to where we are today? Sure, but I think it would have taken them a lot longer had they not had the jet fuel provided by the Patriot Act. The door got kicked wide open for them, and look what it's done to us. Look how bad Twitter fucked with the 2020 election. Silencing people, saying, oh, well then, yeah, you know what, you're right. That actually was kind of a big deal. Oopsie poopsie. Who cares? Yeah, it might be a big deal that the president's son, might be compromised, and how that could be a compromising of him, and where's all this money going, and where's the big guy, and who's the big guy, and, isn't it kind of weird Joe Biden has big guy on a license plate of his car in Delaware, and then the big guy that's involved in all his emails is getting money. But yes, it all goes back to 2001. And it seemed really fucking weird. But I guess even then I wasn't like, how bad is this really going to get? I didn't realize at the time, but holy shit, it is bad. 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And here's where we are. It's a fucking mess. Clapper sounds like a disease. Right on, Tweety. Trot Golfer saying, Sean, I don't think there's a thing we can do about this. They're too big. Nobody's too big to fail, my man. Everybody can fail. Everybody can fail. The walls of Jericho were too big too. And they still fell down. So just saying. 7-Eleven saying, wait, I can't say the N-word because of Bush and the Patriot Act? Man. No, that's not why you can't say the N-word. Oh. A Job Well Done says, yes, the National Defense Authorization Act that's been consistently renewed and renewed and renewed and renewed and renewed. Yes, that is a problem. Multiple executive orders since 2001. We can also throw in the whole, authorized use of military force, which is still what the Congress has authorized the executive to operate under and still allowing it, which is basically excusing everything, including even into Syria. Isn't that funny? We have the authorized use of military force, which lets the government kind of run roughshod over half the fucking world at this point. And it was only meant for one thing. Funny how that works. Patty Letter says jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Yes, he said it. Jet fuel. He said it. He said the word. Thomas Fenton for $2 says this has come real big for agency cyberpunk garbage. Yeah. James PFP says termites be nom nom nomming. Jim is saying the Patriot Act was written in the 90s and was put on hold until the opportunity. Oh, certainly. Like any bill like that. They've got other ones ready to go. Patriot Act 2.0. They've got all kinds of crap sitting on strip alert, waiting for the right disaster. Just you watch. The inner city pigeons, you can't say the N word because of the OJ trial. Oh. Oh my gosh, you guys are like. The day after 9/11, magically the 5,000-page Patriot Act was ready to be voted on. I don't remember if it was that quick, but it was really fucking quick they were really quick about it. And it wasn't long before Bush had everybody appointed and ready to go to start it. Okay. After this, I'm reading the last super chats and then we're done. F in the chat for F. Lee Bailey's Norton bomb site. Oof. Spicy boys tonight. I thought I was being spicy tonight. Tarkina Meyer for $5 says, one last Pelosi comment. By grab Thor's hammer, you will be avenged. AD for $5 says, he won't win a trial. Remember, innocent until proven guilty is racist, Sean. Yep. Yeah, like I said, he's gonna be fighting some fight of his life, but I think he can do it. Just got to find 12 decent people in Grand Rapids County. And he might be able to. Okay. Thomas Fenton for $5 says the Patriot Act honestly was just the legacy of the surveillance state that was already in effect from FDR's soilist era regime. Got to trim the fat. Yeah. I mean, you go back, there was already a surveillance state running. The FBI was doing whatever it wanted. Hoover turned the FBI. It was not about fighting bad guys. It was Hoover's state security apparatus. The FBI operated like a secret police. They collected blackmail on people. They intimidated people. They did a lot of sketchy stuff. The FBI was involved in mass surveillance already through the 40s and 50s, doing wiretaps. They claimed they were fighting communism, but they weren't doing that. They were going after people to accumulate blackmail and power because that's all Hoover wanted. Hoover saw the check and was like, I like what they're doing. I want to be like Dzerzhinsky. Wasn't like, I'd like to fight bad guys. So yes, that had been ongoing. The NSA and its precursors, they had intercepted and were always reading telegrams and telegraphs that were transmitted across cables. They read everything that came along. The government didn't care because they thought, we don't need a warrant. We're the government. So yes, it is not anything new, but it's just now it's in our face like this. Yes, F. Oh my gosh, you guys are. Hoover would be proud. Well, especially with all like the transgender stuff coming out nowadays, Hoover would be very proud. Ooh, did I say that, FBI? Yes, I did. Your daddy wore woman's clothes. Deal with it. Oh, fuck. I'm not going to say that one. I can't do it. Petty Letter says all neocons are Zionists. All neocons are scumbags. Neocons are scumbags. They are the bane. Like, I wish they didn't. I kind of wish Al Gore would have won because I don't think the neocon I can't get much worse. The neocons have been awful. Wicked Money says full-blooded Italians. Well, that is it for me tonight. Sheeple Hunter says, I thought we were supposed to type F if we're fapping. My bad. And Biden Center for Presidents who can't read good. Listen, man. Come on, man. We can fix all this with the True and Heaven Sound of Pressure Act. Yes. So try to sing. Is someone refilling that glass off screen? Yes, me. I've got a pitcher here and I can pour into the pit. Like here, I can. See, that's me. See, I'm doing it right now and you can't tell. It's movie magic. Sorry, so late and gay was playing with the new sandblaster. Well, that's more fun than getting depressed about the state of the government destroying our rights and coming after us. So you had a little more fun tonight, Stabby. Wicked Money says pull the plug on Building 7. Yes. Yes. We are done tonight. So that is it, guys. Appreciate everybody here tonight. Everybody liked, everybody subscribed, everybody commented, super chats, everything. You guys are. You thought I was a catcher? Ooh, you're sorely mistaken, brother. Anyways, we're gonna pull it and we're gonna take care of this tonight, guys. So remember, next week I have trial, so I won't be doing anything right away at the beginning of the week. I'll look into what's going on with Dean Cummings. Got some other stuff working on. And I will look into the whole Delphi thing as well, because that does seem interesting. For $10 million, I'm a catcher. Nice. I didn't say I'd be catch for $10 million. I said I'd pitch for $10 million. So, guys, have a nice night. And remember, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.